Hi, welcome back to Guessagaingaming. So, if you watched some of the videos I've made over the past few months, I've been playing Pathfinder, first Kingmaker and then War of the Righteous. I played much more of Kingmaker, but I played a good deal of War of the Righteous too, until in both games I got to a point where there were certain systems that I found frustrating and I wasn't enjoying it. And if you want to find out why, you can go back and watch the videos. I think the last video about War of the Righteous was about 2 weeks ago, maybe a week ago. Anyway, so as I said in those videos, I always like to be playing a turn-based game on the go all the time, really, so I can drop into it when I'm not in the mood for running around and shooting or whatever it might be, jumping, shooting and all these things. So it used to always be XCOM 2 or Phantom Doctrine, more XCOM 2, but those two, and I've uninstalled both because I thought I need to move on to new games and do other things with turn-based games. Those two I'm so used to, I could play them in my sleep. And I think sometimes I probably did. So I started playing Pillars of Eternity Deadfire because it's another game that I've had on disc actually for a while. I know there's an original one, the first Pillars of Eternity, but I decided, unlike with Pathfinder, I wouldn't go back and play the first one first, for no other reason than, as I found with Pathfinder, I might not particularly like either of them, and there's no point in buying the first one just for the sake of it, although it's on sale at the PlayStation Store now. Anyway, so I've been playing Pillars of Eternity Deadfire, probably for about 3 or 4 days, very similar to complicated games like Pathfinder. It's hard to get to grip with the system. The turn-based combat system is simple. If you know turn-based, if you play Pathfinder or XCOM or any of those kind of games, that's not difficult at all. You'll get that very quickly. But there's other parts to it that are difficult. It's a very kind of sprawling game, and it starts off on an island. I'm not going to go into all the details of everything because this is just like early thoughts on the game. It's not a how-to or any systems in the game particularly. But yeah, you start off on an island and you have to do the usual kind of early bits in games, little few fetch quests, get your party going. And then you open up onto a kind of big map where you can sail around the islands, and you get a boat, and I'll show you, you get a ship, and you have a crew, and you have supplies, and you can put different cannons on, and you can upgrade your hull and different parts of the ships, and there's your crew, and they all have different experience. And you have sea battles, which are kind of turn-based click sea battles, but once you kind of get used to how that works, and I think I'm still not quite used to it, they could be quite fun. In fact, I've been saving and doing those battles against well out of my reach enemies, to high-leveled enemies, just to practice, and it's actually quite fun once you get into it. The game is pretty good. It's got all the normal stuff you'd expect, which is collecting stuff and selling stuff, and the story is, I would say, so far a bit more complicated or confusing than maybe, and I'll go for Pathfinder because that's a game I played recently. I think XCOM and Phantom Doctrine, those games, they've got very basic, simple stories. Pathfinder, to be honest, although the lore is complicated, the stories of both games are pretty simple. In one, you're someone who wants to become a baronet or the ruler. That's pretty straightforward, although the other parts of the story can be complicated. And in the second game, War of the Righteous, you're the chosen one, and you're going to bring down the baddies, kind of, and those two things are quite simple. There's other parts to the stories that are not simple, but the actual basic story is simple. In this, it's a bit more complicated. You're being told by, you're brought back to life, and you're being told by a god that you need to chase down other gods, and it's more complicated, and you get quite a lot of interactions with the god telling you to do things, and there's quite a lot of dialogue in that, and you have to kind of really pay attention to it. You don't need to, and I've done it a bit, so I would say the story is more complicated to follow. That might just be me. Like I said, I've not played the first game, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing or a good thing. It's just an observation of how I've looked at it since I've been playing it. there are quite a few cities. The place you start is a small, comparatively small port. I've come to this city, and that's just the port area. Then that's the whole city, and you can see there's quite a lot of areas. Like with the first port area I went to, there was quite a lot of areas in that, but there was only, I think, 1 or 2 at the beginning I could access. Now I don't know whether at some point later I'm going to be able to go to all these other places. I'm guessing the way they're highlighted, I'm guessing you do. And how that works is you travel directly to it. So if I wanted to go to like one area, you can see it's kind of highlighted with a border. You click on it and go there. You don't physically walk through the city. So I'm there, and if I wanted to go there in the future, I would click on that, or I'm assuming there or there. But you don't literally walk through all that, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. This isn't that kind of game. It's not a witchery, cyberpunky game where you walk through cities. You don't need that, and that would be less interesting, and it would be good. Obviously, it would take up more graphics and more rendering. So yeah, so that's fine. And apart from that, I've kind of enjoyed it. It's been a game that I would say at the beginning I was like, and that's possibly because I played a lot of Pathfinder. So maybe I was a little bit worn out with this kind of game, so I had to kind of push on a bit. But once I got into the way it plays, and like I said, I like the ship battle and that. It's not super in depth because it's a turn-based ship battle, but it's quite fun. And I like the fact you can get crew, and you can have you can board ships, and you can have a fight with other crews on the decks of your ships. That can be quite good. So it's quite enjoyable. I've enjoyed it so far. And from the point of after about a day and a half where I kind of thought maybe I'm not going to continue this for long, I've kind of got more into it, and now I kind of like it. So I'm going to press on. I'll see where I go with it. Like I said, it's similar to all the games I play, which I play just for me. I'll see how it goes. I'll see what changes. As I said, at this point in Pathfinder Kingmaker, I was loving it. So, and I'm a long way from how long I played Kingmaker before I kind of realised it was stuck in an annoying loop. So we'll see. Like I said, I'll make another video about this game when I get a bit further with more thoughts, and see how we go. Anyway, so that's my thoughts, early thoughts, although they're not that early actually, but that's my thoughts after probably 2 or 3 days of maybe 20 hours, 25 hours in Pillars of Eternity Deadfire. Thanks for watching Guessagaingaming. Till next time.